Minasan, konnichiwa. Hey friends, how are you? Welcome to Saral Japani YouTube channel. This is a place where we talk about Japan. So this is the series called Japanese Lessons for Beginners. Today we are at lesson 102 and today's topic is approximations, in which we learn three new adverbs of Japanese: goro, gurai and tokidoki. So let's see what we have. Approximations. So what is an approximation? A value or quantity that is nearly but not accurately correct, or a thing that is similar to something else but is not exactly the same. A work is done but not regularly but sometimes. That is the frequency. These are some of the words of approximations in English grammar: about, nearly, roughly, tentatively, approximately, sometimes, rarely, and many others. And all of these are clearly adverbs, that is, words that qualify the verbs. In today's lesson, from Japanese grammar point of view, we shall discuss about time approximation, that is, around what time period approximation, for example, around what duration, and frequency approximation, that is, how often. So the first one is time approximation, which is goro. Nanji goro nemasu ka? Nanji ni nemasu ka? So nanji ni nemasu ka we have learned earlier, which means at what time do you sleep? But when we say nanji goro nemasu ka, that is, we replace the ni particle with the adverb goro, then it becomes around what time do you sleep? So this is around. And nanji ni nemasu ka means what time do you sleep? So this is the difference between an exact value and an approximate value. Goro is a suffix used to express an approximate time. It is written just after the time symbols. For example, this ji, han or pun. Ji is for hour, han is for half past, and pun is for minutes. It is usually an approximation up to plus minus 5 minutes only. If it is beyond 5 minutes, then we should not use goro. When goro is used, ni should not be used, as we can see here. So nanji ni nemasu ka? Nanji goro nemasu ka? It will not be nanji goro ni nemasu ka. Goro is used only for specific time or date and not with time duration or period. That means when a specific time is mentioned, for example, rokuji or shichiji or shichiji han, in that case only we can use goro, but not for a specific time interval. So now the answer to this question. The question was nanji goro nemasu ka? At around what time do you sleep? Watashi wa kuji goro nemasu. I sleep at around 9 o'clock. And this may be in between 8:55 and 9:05 because it is plus minus 5 minutes. Watashi wa rokuji goro okimasu. That is, I wake up at around 6 o'clock. Watashi wa rokuji goro okimasu. Watashi wa rokuji ni okimasu. That will be I wake up at 6 o'clock. I wake up at 6 o'clock is watashi wa rokuji ni okimasu, which we learned earlier. And today we are learning about around. So watashi wa rokuji goro okimasu. I wake up at around 6 o'clock. Nanji goro soji o shimashita ka? Around what time did you clean? So this is shimashita. This is the past tense of shimasu. And soji means to clean. So soji o shimashita means at what time did you perform the cleaning? Around what time did you perform the cleaning? So the normal one will be nanji ni soji o shimashita ka? And with goro it will be nanji goro soji o shimashita ka? Hachiji goro around 8 o'clock, and Futsuka goro around 2nd of this month. Now Hatsuka, Futsuka, Sanji, Sannichi. So all these yokka, these can also be used along with goro. So goro can be used with the dates as well. It is not that It's used only with time, but with specific dates also we can use goro. So if you say, watashi wa futsuka goro kunio kairimasu, that means I will return back to my country around 2nd of this month. And if you say raigetsu no futsuka goro kunio kunie kairimasu, then it will be I will return back to my home country around 2nd of next month. Raigetsu no futsuka goro kunie kairimasu. I will return back to my country around the 2nd of next month. So in this way, both time and date may be used along with goro. 5時半から7時まで電話で話しました. So this example we have seen in an earlier chapter. So now we are coming to time period approximation, which is gurai. So goro was time approximation. Now gurai is for time period approximation. So 5時半から7時まで. That means 5:30 to 7まで電話で話しました. I spoke over phone. I spoke on the phone from 5:30 to 7. 1時間半電話で話しました. So this means I spoke for 1.5 hours. So this can be written as 1時間半. This we learned in the previous lesson. 1時間半電話で話しました. So this is just another way of representing the same thing. So here the specific from time to time is mentioned, and here the time duration is mentioned. That's why this kan counter is there. This is the counter for number of hours. Jikan is the counter for hours. 1時間半電話で話しました. I spoke on the phone for 1.5 hours. So now, how do we use gurai? 1時間半ぐらい電話で話しました. Now, if you didn't know the specific time, then you can also say 1時間半ぐらい電話で話しました. That means I spoke on the phone for about 1.5 hours. So you don't know the specific duration. It may be little more than, or it may be little less than 1.5 hours. So in that case, you use gurai. So this means goro is used for specific time and gurai is used for time period or time span or time interval. So this is the difference between goro and gurai. 1時間半ぐらい電話で話しました. So this is to summarize. We have when there is a specific time or date, then we use goro and it is followed by the verb. And when we have time period, it is followed by gurai and then the verb. Now, if there is a noun or a subject to qualify which is associated with this verb, then it will be time or date plus goro plus noun plus the particle o, a, ni, de, and followed by the verb. And same is the case for gurai. So this is time period. This is not time or date. This is time period. So time period plus gurai plus noun plus particle o, a, ni, or de plus verb. So this is the structure of the sentence. Yoji goro aimasu. Yoji goro aimasu means I will meet at 4 o'clock. Aimasu, aimashita, aimasho as we say. So this is the verb to meet. So yoji is 4 o'clock, goro is around. I will meet at around 4 o'clock. I will meet at around 4 o'clock. And if we say yoji goro sensei ni aimasu, that means I will meet my teacher at 4 o'clock. So this one is basically the sentence without a noun or a subject. And here we have this specified subject or the noun here, sensei. So yoji goro aimasu, yoji goro sensei ni aimasu. So ni is the particle here. So I will meet at around 4 o'clock. I will meet my teacher at around 4 o'clock. So again, around here. Yoji goro aimasu, yoji goro sensei ni aimasu. Likewise, sanjikan gurai machimashita. So now there is time interval. Earlier it was the specific time and now it's the time interval. So sanjikan gurai machimashita. Machimas means to wait. Machimashita is the past tense, which is I waited. I waited for nearly 3 hours. Sanjikan is 3 hours. Gurai is approximately or around. Machimashita is waited. I waited for nearly 3 hours. Sanjikan gurai eki de machimashita. Now, eki means station, and this is connected with the verb using de particle. So, Sanjikan gurai eki de machimashita. I waited at the station for about 3 hours. So, these two follow this format, and these two examples follow this format. So, this is how we use goro and gurai. Goro is for specific time or date, and gurai is for time period. Next is the frequency approximation, which is tokidoki. Let's see what it is. Tokidoki means sometimes or not very frequently. Sometimes is tokidoki. This is an adverb. Then we have often or frequently, something which is happening frequently. For that we use hinpan ni. So ni is the particle which is used to connect hinpan with the subsequent part of the sentence. Rarely is metta ni. So tokidoki, hinpan and metta. And daily we all know mainichi. So these are the adverbs of frequency of happening of some activity, and today we are looking at tokidoki only. So sometimes tokidoki is our subject of interest in this lesson. Rest of these mainichi we have already studied, and hinpan and metta we will come across in future lessons. Anata wa mainichi eiga o mimasu ka? Now, what does that mean? Anata means you, mainichi daily, eiga means movie or film, and mimas is the verb for to watch. So, very simple sentence. Anata wa mainichi eiga o mimasu ka means, do you watch movies daily? We have done this in one of our previous lessons, so this is nothing new. Ie, tokidoki mimasu. So now the answer contains tokidoki, which we are learning for the first time today. That means no, I watch sometimes. The question was, do you watch daily? Answer is no, I do not watch daily. Mainichi eiga o mimasen. That means I do not watch daily, but I watch sometimes. I watch sometimes. Tokidoki mimasu. So the complete answer will be ie. Watashi wa mainichi eiga o mimasen. Tokidoki mimasu. So this is the correct answer. Anata wa mainichi eiga o mimasu ka? Ie, tokidoki mimasu. Anata wa mainichi eiga o mimasu ka? Tokidoki mimasu ka? So now you can see these two have been combined into a single question. So what does that mean? And you can see there are two ka particles. So when we discussed about ka particles in our previous lessons, in one of the previous lessons, so we learned that when we use to ka in the same sentence, then it gives the meaning of or. That means, do you watch movies daily or sometimes? So, anata wa mainichi eiga o mimasu ka? That is, do you watch movies daily? Tokidoki mimasu ka? Or sometimes. Or do you watch sometimes? So, this is what the usage of two ka particles indicate. Anata wa mainichi eiga o mimasu ka? Tokidoki mimasu ka? Do you watch movies daily or sometimes? Tokidoki mimasu. I watch sometimes. Again, do you watch movies daily? The answer may be yes. Hai, mainichi eiga o mimasu. And this is the generic form. Mainichi verb plus mas ending. Or you can say ie, mainichi verb masen, which is negative form of the verb. But tokidoki verb mas. So what does that mean? Anata wa mainichi eiga o mimasu ka? Hai, mainichi eiga o mimasu. Ie, mainichi mimasen. Tokidoki mimasu. So, hai mainichi mimasu. Ie mainichi mimasen. Tokidoki mimasu. So this is the complete answer. This is the answer in positive way. So now let's practice using some more examples. So this is the noun and this is the verb. So, あなたは毎日肉を食べますか？はい、毎日肉を食べます。いえ、毎日食べません。時々食べます。買い物。買い物 is shopping. します。to do. That means to do shopping. あなたは毎日買い物をしますか？はい、毎日買い物をします。いえ、毎日買い物をしません。時々します。ドラマ。This is the English word drama. That's why written in katakana. And again, it is 見ます。So, あなたは毎日ドラマを見ますか？はい、毎日ドラマを見ます。or いえ、毎日ドラマを見ません。時々見ます。ニュース、ニュース、聞きます。That means listening of news. あなたは毎日ニュースを聞きますか？ Do you listen to the news daily? Yes, I listen to the news daily. はい、私は毎日ニュースを聞きます。or no, I do not watch news daily. I watch sometimes. いえ、私は毎日ニュースを聞きません。時々聞きます。So this is how you can practice. You can use some other nouns and other verbs and practice in this way. So these are the kanji symbols which are associated with goro, gurai and tokidoki. So you need not bother about these symbols because kanji learning in this series is a completely a separate track. Although those are part of this series or this playlist itself, there is no doubt about it, but we are learning the kanji characters in a systematic way starting from grade 1 of Japanese schools. Then we will move to grade 2, grade 3 and so on. So whenever these symbols will appear in that serial order, we will encounter these and we will study this. So for now you can restrict to the hiragana version of these words, goro, gurai, and tokidoki. That is perfectly fine. But this is only for representational purposes so that when you come across these symbols, you can know that these belong to goro, gurai, and tokidoki. Now let's look at a conversation using goro, gurai, and tokidoki. So this is a conversation between Tanaka-san and Honda-san. So let's see what are these two friends talking about. Tanaka-san says, 昨日何時に帰りましたか？本田さん、電車で夜11時に帰りました。電車で何時間ですか？ 3 時間ぐらいです。今朝何時に起きましたか？ 9 時半ごろ起きました。朝ごはんを食べましたか？はい、パンと卵を食べました。牛乳も飲みました。毎日パンと卵を食べますか？いえ、時々食べます。So friends, very simple and very specific conversation that brings out the differences between goro, gurai and tokidoki, which we learned today. So let's look at each of these sentences one by one. The first one is Tanaka-san says, 昨日何時に帰りましたか? So very simple. If you have done the previous lessons, you can very easily understand this. 昨日何時に帰りましたか? When did you at what time did you return yesterday? Tanaka-san is asking Honda-san at what time did he return yesterday? 電車で夜11時に帰りました。I returned by train at 11 p.m. at night. Yoru is night. Densha is train. So, densha de kairimashita. I returned by train. At what time? Yoru ju ichiji ni. That means last night at 11 p.m. Then Tanaka-san asks, Densha de nanjikan desu ka? That means how much time did it take by train. How much time by train? Honda-san says, 3時間ぐらいです. So now the application of gurai. So Honda-san says approximately 3 hours or nearly 3 hours or about 3 hours. So since this is a time interval, time period or time span, that's why gurai is used and not goro. Sanji kan. Jikan is the counter for number of hours. So 3 hours, nearly 3 hours. Then Tanaka-san says, 今朝何時に起きましたか? This morning, what time did you wake up? So this is the question because Honda-san returned very late last night. So that's why Tanaka-san is curious to know at what time did he wake up this morning. 今朝何時に起きましたか? 9時半頃起きました. Now, since it is not a time interval but a specific time, that is 9:30. Kujihan is 9:30. So Honda-san woke up late because he returned late last night. So this morning he woke up late at around 9:30 a.m. So around 9:30 a.m. he woke up. Kujihan goro okimashita. I woke up at around 9:30. Then Tanaka-san asks, Asa gohan o tabemashita ka? That means, did you have your breakfast or have you had your breakfast? Honda-san, hi, yes, pan to tamago, bread and eggs o tabemashita. Pan to tamago o tabemashita. I had bread and eggs in the breakfast. Gyunyu mo nomimashita. I also drank milk. So Honda-san says, hi, pan to tamago o tabemashita. Gyunyu mo nomimashita. Yes, I had bread and eggs and I also drank milk. Then Tanaka-san says, Mainichi pan to tamago tabemasu ka? Now this question is, do you eat bread and eggs daily? This is Tanaka-san's next question. Mainichi pan to tamago tabemasu ka? Now you see here, everything was in past tense. Kairimashita, okimashita, tabemashita, nomimashita. But now the question changes to present tense or future tense tabemasu ka, because now the question is, do you eat bread and eggs daily? So now it cannot be past tense since it is mentioning about daily. So it will be tabemasu ka. And Honda-san says, Ie, tokidoki tabemasu. No, I eat sometimes. That means Honda-san doesn't eat bread and eggs every day, but he eats them sometimes. So this is what is discussed between Tanaka-san and Honda-san. So friends, that's all about today's lesson, in which we learned 3 adverbs of Japanese grammar: goro, gurai, and tokidoki, and all of these 3 are related to approximations. Goro is for time approximation, gurai is for time period approximation, and tokidoki is for frequency approximation. I hope this lesson was useful to you. Thank you so much for watching this video, and do visit our channel and watch rest of the videos. So we shall meet again very soon in the next video of this channel. Till then, goodbye. Arigato gozaimasu. Mata aimashou.